good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we have some interesting news as undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol the True Spence Jr., who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Errol Spence sports a record of 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout. He's 31 years of age, standing at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence, he weighed in on the highly action-packed and exciting press conference that we got yesterday between a guy who was a friend of Errol Spence and undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Caleb Sweethand Plant. 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout. Caleb Plant, 29 years of age, stands at 6'1" with a 74-inch arm reach. He will be taking on 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who is currently the unified WBC, WBA, WBO, Ring Magazine super middleweight world champion superstar boxer, Saul Canelo Alvarez. 56 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 38 big wins by way of knockout. Canelo Alvarez is 31 years of age. Canelo Alvarez stands at 5'8" with a 70-inch arm reach. So Caleb Plant, he's going to enjoy a 4-inch height advantage and a 4-inch arm reach advantage over Saul Canelo Alvarez, and he's 2 years younger. With that said, there was a very, very entertaining press conference between the two. First press conference, they did a photo shoot, they did a face-off to promote their upcoming November 6th showdown. With that said, Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez, they got into a viral scuffle in which Canelo Alvarez, he shoved Caleb Plant across the stage. Caleb Plant, he walked back up, looked to he smacked Canelo Alvarez with a left hand. Canelo Alvarez threw a 2-punch combination. Caleb Plant looked to slip it, and then Caleb Plant, he came up, and underneath his right eye, he had a cut. Underneath his eye was bleeding. He had on shades. And Caleb Plant, he also had a knot above the left side of his head. Okay, and Canelo Alvarez also had a busted lip. His arm was bleeding, so it was a scuffle, right? And Errol Spence, he responds, and he says, "Man, if you're gonna beat Canelo Alvarez, essentially you have to learn how to duck. You can't get hit with counter punches, right? Because if you look at the photo, the video, you can see that, you know, Canelo Alvarez, he threw a 2-punch combination that really truly looked like it landed, but it truly did not land, okay? It looked like it landed, but it truly did not land, okay? And so with that said, you know, you can see the footage here, right? Here goes the footage. The shove is there. Then you see Caleb Plant, he comes back, swing left hand, slap Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez throws a 2-punch combination. A lot of scuffling going on, right? So you see the 2-punch combination that Canelo Alvarez swung, but then when you see it actually in slow motion, it also looked like Caleb Plant didn't land the slap, right? It looked like that didn't land, okay? But then when you see that also in slow motion, you can clearly see that Caleb Plant, well, he did land the slap. It did land very, very cleanly. Most people thought that it didn't land, and you can clearly see here that it did land, okay? And so with that said, Canelo Alvarez 2-punch combination, it didn't really land, and it was open palm because Canelo Alvarez, he understood what was at stake, okay? They got Canelo Alvarez stands to make $30 million for this fight. Caleb Plant stands to make $10 million for this fight. It's a huge Showtime pay-per-view event. A massive, undisputed, historic event because there's never been an undisputed 4 major sanctioned belt holder at super middleweight. Canelo Alvarez is looking to create history 2 times over because there's never been a 4-belt major sanctioned belt undisputed Mexican-born fighter to hold all 4 belts and the Ring Magazine. So he's looking to create history 2 times over because he'll be the first Mexican to do so, and he'll be the first super middleweight undisputed champion. Caleb Plant, obviously, he's looking to become undisputed, but there's been other American undisputed 4 major sanctioned belt holders. There's currently a few right now as it stands that are undisputed. You got Clarissa Shields was undisputed. You know, you have Terrence Crawford was undisputed. Now, Terrence Crawford is no longer undisputed because he vacated his belt. Okay, so there's plenty of American undisputed fighters in the history of the sport of boxing. There's never been that Mexican descent to hold all 4 major belts. We have Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, you know, Terrence Crawford, Clarissa Shields twice. You know, she's undisputed in 2 separate weight classes. So there's been a few American boxers. There's never been a Mexican boxer to hold all 4 major sanctioned bodies. So Canelo Alvarez is looking to create history 2 times over. So Errol Spence, who's looking to create history and become undisputed at welterweights. The last undisputed welterweight we had was Zab Judah. Okay, so we're looking to get historic events that take place. And so now you have this situation where Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant, they're looking to create history, and the scuffle looked worse than what it actually was. So Errol Spence, he says, you're going to have to learn to duck and avoid those counter punches if you're going to beat Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant, he displayed a lot of confidence. Okay, now he's going to have to live up to that building. Okay, but Caleb Plant, he called Canelo out on a lot of things. Mainly the fact that Canelo Alvarez, he tested positive for a banned substance, clenbuterol, back when he was heading into his highly anticipated rematch with then undefeated unified middleweight reigning champion, superstar boxer Gennady Triple G Golovkin. He was suspended for 6 months, came back, fought Triple G, he won the fight, okay? But he was suspended because he tested positive for a banned substance, clenbuterol. He cited it was the tainted meat in Mexico, and Caleb Plant, he's just simply not buying it. So Caleb Plant, he let Canelo Alvarez know, I'm not buying it. You and your team are just essentially looking to get an unfair advantage because you're not very confident. Now we know Canelo Alvarez, longtime trainer, well-renowned trainer of the year, Eddie Reynoso, has now had 4 fighters that tested positive for banned substance. He had Martinez, he has Canelo Alvarez, Oscar Valdez, and Luis Neri. So that's 4 fighters. So Caleb Plant wasn't short on words when he let it be known at this press conference that you have tested positive. Your trainer is looking for an unfair advantage. You guys are not confident. He used other words to describe it. Canelo Alvarez, he stated that the reason that this scuffle took place was simply because Caleb Plant, used some unwelcoming words towards Canelo Alvarez's mom, which we see is proved not to be true, okay? Because Caleb Plant, he had his hands behind his back. He used the word that Canelo Alvarez previously used in some heated debates or arguments he had with other fighters, his peers. And Canelo Alvarez, he stated that he just simply didn't understand the language barrier, and because of that, he felt as if Caleb Plant was, using some unwelcoming words towards his mom. Thus, the reason why he pushed Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant had his hand behind his back when Canelo Alvarez pushed him. So this fight is scheduled to take place November 6th. Caleb Plant also has been working with Olympic gold medalist, undefeated, former 2-division world champion, who won the Super 6 tournament, Hall of Famer, iconic superstar boxer, Andre S.O.G. Ward. That was another situation where Canelo Alvarez was not welcome to that. He even stated that he can put Andre Ward in the ring as well. He'll beat Caleb Plant and Andre Ward, okay? This is a division Andre Ward campaigned at. There weren't many as big names as it is today as far as paper. It wasn't a Canelo Alvarez. Now, he did beat Carl Froch. He did beat Arthur Abraham. He did beat Mikkel Kessler. There was big names there, right, at the time. He beat Chad Dawson. He won the Super 6 tournament. He moved up, beat Sergey Crusher Kovalev. So he beat some big names, but he never became undisputed at super middleweight. And, he never had that massive pay-per-view fight other than the Sergey Kovalev fight when he had to move up. So this is his weight that he dominated. So there's a lot of, speculation that Andre Ward would come back for a Canelo Alvarez fight. And it's clear that Canelo Alvarez, he didn't take too kind to that. So I believe that the words that Caleb Plant tweeted out after Canelo Alvarez, fellow countryman and, close friend and stablemate, Oscar Valdez, who's a 2-division world champion, WBC reigning junior lightweight world champion Mexican superstar boxer, tested positive for a banned substance, amphetamine, and his A sample and B sample came back. He tested positive, and he was still allowed to fight 2 weeks later against Olympic gold medalist Brazilian star boxer Robson Casasio. Okay, and so after that, Caleb Plant, he took to social media and he had some very, very strong words for Canelo Alvarez and Oscar Valdez. That's when he stated that that whole entire camp down there was looking for unfair advantages, and that, you know, if there was other fighters, they would have been punished. How did Oscar Valdez not get punished? He kept his belt. He was still able to collect a check. He was still able to fight. Nothing changed. And he tested positive for a banned substance. And actually, WBC, World Boxing Council, they've decided to put out a statement that they were not only going to not punish Oscar Valdez, but they were going to back him because amphetamine is equivalent to taking 3 Red Bulls. Now, how would they know that? They're not chemists, okay? They're not pharmacists. So how would they know such a thing? They wouldn't. They just wanted to back their fellow countrymen. It was Mexican Independence Day weekend. It's a huge weekend for the sport of boxing and Mexican fan base, and they wanted to keep that weekend going with a big fight with a Mexican superstar, point blank and period. And Caleb Plant, he called him out on it in tweets, and he let it be known. And that's where the frustration came on the part of Canelo Alvarez when they came face to face, point blank and period. But Errol Spence, he says, Caleb Plant needs to learn how to duck. I believe that Caleb Plant, his confidence is through the roof. I believe that Caleb Plant is going to surprise many people. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to win the fight. I believe it's a 50-50 fight. I still currently, as it stands, favor Canelo Alvarez to win the fight just off of experience. But Caleb Plant, he has all the necessary tools. He's very slick. He's very rangy. He's very quick, you know, and he has respectable power. Most people look at his knockouts, only having 12 knockouts in 21 fights, and they say he's not a big puncher. But Uskatiki would speak different, because he dropped Uskatiki a few times in that fight, and he won a unanimous decision against Uskatiki. And many people, they peg Uskatiki as the boogeyman and the man to beat Caleb Plant. He was the favorite. So he shocked the world land, and I'm sure he's going to shock a lot of people just off of sheer confidence alone and his athletic ability and his high ring IQ. Canelo Alvarez, his Achilles heel has always been guys with quick feet that are pure boxers that are slick, because he doesn't have the quickest feet in the world. But he does have a high ring IQ. He puts you in position where he can succeed, has very, very fast hands. So we got to see how this plays out and unfolds. Errol Spence tells Caleb Plant, you better learn how to duck when you're dealing with Canelo Alvarez. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for you. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.